Who could have done this to him, and why? Follow along as we dive deep into the story. Don't forget to subscribe. Edet had always considered Aniefiok not just a good friend but a brother. Before traveling abroad, they were inseparable, sharing moments of joy and hardship alike. They played together as children, ran through the village fields, and swam in the nearby river. As they grew older, they ate from the same plate, laughed at the same jokes, and even worked together to support their families. Edet trusted Aniefiok completely, believing their bond to be unbreakable. However, as the elders wisely say, not every smile is from the heart, and not every embrace is out of love. Time would reveal the truth, that even the closest friendships can be tested by distance, success, and hidden intentions. Back in the village, Aniefiok and his wife, Enobong, were enduring severe hardship. Life had become unbearably difficult, with barely enough food to sustain them. Each day was a struggle, and their small modest house, which had once provided a semblance of comfort, was now a source of distress. Their rent had long expired, and the landlord, a man known for his short temper and lack of sympathy, had run out of patience. Like clockwork, he would storm into their compound, his voice roaring like thunder in the rainy season. "Aniefiok, if I don't see my money by nightfall, you and your wife will sleep under the sky." Aniefiok and Enobong would tremble, their hands clasped in desperation. "Please, landlord, we are trying our best to raise the money," they would plead, their voices heavy with fear and hopelessness. But their words carried little weight. The landlord had heard the same excuses too many times before, and his face remained hard as stone. He would scoff, shake his head, and storm off, but not without leaving a chilling warning: his patience was running out. Every passing day felt like a noose tightening around their necks. Aniefiok searched frantically for work, but opportunities were scarce. Enobong, too, tried to help, offering her services as a seamstress, but the few coins she earned were barely enough to buy food, let alone pay their rent. They lived in constant fear, wondering how much longer they could endure. One evening, as they sat in their modest sitting room, the dim glow of a flickering lantern casting shadows on the walls, Enobong turned to her husband with a worried expression. "What about your friend Edet?" she asked gently. "Why not call him for help? He might be our only hope." Aniefiok hesitated, rubbing his palms together. "He is my friend, but I do not want to disturb him. He has his own problems." Enobong sighed and placed a reassuring hand on his knee. "There is no harm in trying," she insisted. "True friends help each other in times of need. You have nothing to lose by asking." After a moment of silence, Aniefiok exhaled deeply and picked up his phone. His fingers trembled slightly as he dialed Edet's number. The ringing tone seemed to last forever before a familiar voice finally came through. "Hello, my brother." Edet's voice was warm and cheerful, instantly putting Aniefiok at ease. "Yes, my dear," Aniefiok responded. "It has been a long time. How are you, and how is life abroad?" "We are doing great," Edet said with a chuckle. "But this foreign weather is not easy on me. The cold here is nothing like home. How is the village? How are you?" Aniefiok swallowed hard before speaking. "My brother, life is squeezing us like a python wraps around its prey. I have no job, and if not for God's mercy, the landlord would have thrown us out by now. Things are very hard. Please help us." A brief silence followed before Edet spoke again, his voice filled with reassurance. "My friend, do not worry. I will send you some money to settle your rent and keep you afloat." Tears welled up in Aniefiok's eyes. "God bless you, my brother. Thank you." True to his word, within 2 weeks, money arrived. The relief was overwhelming. Aniefiok and Enobong clutched the cash, their hearts swelling with gratitude. That night, they knelt together in prayer, thanking God for Edet's kindness. Their landlord, now satisfied, finally left them in peace. Though life remained uncertain, hope had returned. Sometime later, Edet called again, his voice filled with warmth and trust. "Since childhood, we have been like brothers," he said. "I want to build a 5-bedroom mansion in the city, and I trust you to handle it. My own family has disappointed me, but I believe in you." Aniefiok felt a surge of pride. He had never received such faith from anyone before. "I will do a wonderful job," he assured Edet. "You will not regret this, my brother." True to his word, Edet sent a large sum of money for the building project, along with architectural drawings and detailed plans. He even went a step further, buying a car for Aniefiok so he could move around easily and earn extra income as a taxi driver. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Aniefiok threw himself into the construction, overseeing every detail and regularly sending Edet pictures and updates at each stage of progress. One evening, as they sat in their small rented apartment, Inobong leaned closer to her husband and whispered, "Do you not see an opportunity here?" Aniefiok frowned. "What opportunity?" Inobong chuckled softly, shaking her head. "You are still a child," she teased. "Think. You are the one buying the materials. What if you inflate the prices a little? The excess money can be used to start our own building. Imagine having our own house instead of living at the mercy of landlords." Aniefiok hesitated. Edet had been nothing but generous and trusting. Would it be right to betray that trust? He thought about all the kindness Edet had shown, the rent money, the car, and now this massive project. His conscience pricked him, but the thought of owning a home was tempting. "Are you sure this will work?" he asked cautiously. Inobong smiled. "Of course. Just a little increase here and there, nothing too obvious. Before you know it, our dream will come true." At first, Aniefiok struggled with guilt, but soon, greed swallowed his conscience. He began doubling the prices of materials, pocketing the excess. As the money flowed in, he secretly purchased land and started constructing a 3-bedroom mansion elsewhere. He even bought another car, convincing himself that Edet would never know. What started as a small lie quickly grew into full-blown deception, and Aniefiok could no longer turn back. As Edet's house neared completion, his wife decided to visit the site to inspect the progress. She walked around, admiring the grand structure taking shape. Everything seemed fine, the walls were solid, the design matched the architectural drawings, and the workers appeared busy with their tasks. Satisfied, she was about to enter her car when a mason hurriedly approached her. He looked around cautiously before speaking in a hushed tone. "Madam, I must tell you something, but please don't mention my name to anyone," he whispered. Edet's wife frowned, curiosity and concern flickering in her eyes. "What is it?" she asked. "The contractor is inflating the prices of materials," the mason revealed. "The costs are twice what they should be. Please investigate." Her heart pounded as she processed the information. Could this be true? Had Aniefiok, whom her husband trusted so much, been cheating them all along? Later that evening, she relayed the mason's words to Edet over the phone. But to her frustration, Edet dismissed her concerns with a chuckle. "Let him make some small profit," Edet said casually. "As long as my house is built well, I am not bothered." His wife sighed in exasperation. "I have told you that you are too kind to this man," she argued. "You have to be careful with the way you send him money. What if he's taking advantage of your trust?" "Don't worry," Edet reassured her. "Aniefiok is like a brother to me. He wouldn't do anything to hurt me." Soon, both houses were complete. Aniefiok and Inobong, their greed knowing no bounds, decided to move into Edet's grand mansion under the pretense of being caretakers. Meanwhile, they rented out their own 3-bedroom house, enjoying the extra income. Their deception had worked flawlessly, and they basked in their ill-gotten luxury. But as the elders say, a thief may own the goat today, but the rightful owner will one day call its name, and it will answer. One day, Edet called Aniefiok, his voice brimming with excitement. "My brother. I will be coming home soon." Aniefiok's heart pounded. His worst fear had come true. Edet was returning, and he would surely reclaim his house. He and Inobong exchanged panicked glances. "We must do something," Inobong urged, pacing the floor. Desperate, they sought out a native doctor, who listened to their plight and nodded knowingly. He prepared a powerful charm and handed it to them. After every declaration, pin a metal pin on the charm and bury it in the compound, the native doctor instructed. He will forget his own house. That night, under the cover of darkness, Aniefiok and Inobong followed the ritual precisely. They buried the charm deep in the soil, whispering the incantations given to them. When Edet finally arrived, he was eager to see the home he had worked so hard to build. But as soon as he stepped onto the compound, he felt an unbearable itch spread across his body. He scratched furiously, his skin burning as if attacked by invisible ants. "Ah! What is this?" Edet groaned, scratching his arms as an unbearable itch spread across his body. He shifted uncomfortably, wiping sweat from his forehead. The sensation worsened with every passing second. His skin burned as though invisible insects were crawling all over him. "This must be the harsh village weather," he muttered, shaking his head. Unwilling to endure the discomfort, he hurriedly left for a hotel, deciding to try again the next day. Aniefiok watched from a distance, his heart racing with excitement. The charm was working. But for how long? The following day, Edet returned, determined to reclaim his home. However, the moment he stepped into the compound, the itching intensified. His entire body felt as if it were on fire. He scratched wildly, gasping in confusion. "This place is cursed," Edet thought, his frustration mounting as he scratched furiously at his skin. The itching was unbearable, like thousands of unseen ants biting him all at once. His attempts to ignore it had failed, and now, exhausted and bewildered, he had no choice but to accept defeat. With a heavy heart, he left the house, feeling a strange sense of loss. How could something he had built with his hard-earned money reject him in this way? Later that evening, he called Aniefiok. His voice was weary, drained of the excitement he had once felt about returning home. "My brother," he sighed, "keep the house. I will build another one elsewhere." On the other end of the call, Aniefiok and Enobong exchanged victorious smiles. Their scheme had worked. They had secured the mansion for themselves. But as the elders say, fate has a way of reclaiming what is rightfully owned. Aniefiok and Enobong rejoiced. With stolen wealth, they lived lavishly, dressing in fine clothes, eating expensive meals, and throwing extravagant parties. Their once humble lives were now filled with luxury, and they basked in their ill-gotten fortune. But as the elders say, a man who carries an elephant on his head should not be chasing crickets with his toes. Aniefiok, intoxicated by his newfound wealth, began indulging in reckless behavior. He took to drinking heavily, gambling recklessly, and chasing women. Every night, he stumbled into their stolen mansion reeking of alcohol, his pockets lighter from wasted bets. He no longer listened to Enobong's advice, brushing off her concerns with dismissive laughter. One fateful evening, Enobong's worst fears came true. A friend tipped her off about Aniefiok's whereabouts, and with fury burning in her chest, she stormed into a hotel. There, she found him in the company of another woman, laughing and drinking as if he had no worries in the world. "Aniefiok," she screamed, her voice shaking with rage. "How dare you betray me after everything we've built together?" The other woman, a tall and muscular lady, rose to her feet, unimpressed by Enobong's fury. "Who is this woman disturbing us?" she scoffed. Before Enobong could react, the woman lunged at her, slapping her so hard she staggered backward. A fierce fight erupted, but the woman was too strong. She overpowered Enobong and beat her mercilessly, leaving her bruised and humiliated. Aniefiok, instead of intervening, simply stood by, silent, watching the spectacle unfold. His face showed neither concern nor remorse. As Enobong lay on the floor, aching and defeated, a painful realization struck her. She had built her life on lies, and now, it was beginning to crumble. Their marriage crumbled like a house built on sand. Aniefiok, consumed by his reckless lifestyle, abandoned Enobong completely. He moved in with one of his mistresses, reveling in his wealth and newfound freedom. Meanwhile, Enobong, filled with bitterness and regret, found herself alone in a small rented apartment. "After everything we suffered together, he threw me away like chaff," she murmured, seething with resentment. She had stood by him, encouraged him, and even led him down the path of deceit, yet he had discarded her like a worn-out rag. Her anger festered until, one fateful day, she decided to reclaim what she believed was hers. Under the cover of night, she sneaked back into the mansion, the very house they had stolen through deceit. With trembling hands, she dug up the charm they had buried to drive Edet away. The moment her fingers touched the cursed object, a sharp, unbearable itch erupted across her body. She gasped, scratching frantically, but the irritation only grew worse. Within moments, painful sores spread across her skin. Her knees buckled, and she collapsed onto the very ground she had defiled. Hours later, Aniefiok returned home, whistling as he entered the compound. His eyes widened in shock when he saw Enobong writhing on the floor, her body covered in welts and wounds. "What happened to you?" he asked, stepping closer. But before he could process the scene, his own skin began to burn. A searing pain shot through his body as the same affliction overtook him. He screamed in horror as sores erupted across his flesh. The house that had once been a symbol of their triumph had now become their prison of suffering. Fate had come to collect its debt. At that moment, as if a veil had been lifted from his mind, Edet suddenly exclaimed, "Why did I abandon my mansion?" A strange realization hit him. He had been manipulated, deceived into giving up his own home. Without wasting another second, he grabbed his wife's hand and rushed to the house. As they arrived, they were met with a shocking sight. Aniefiok and Enobong lay sprawled on the ground, their bodies covered in sores, writhing in unbearable pain. Their once proud faces were now twisted in agony, their stolen luxury reduced to nothing but suffering. Edet's heart pounded as he watched his childhood friend in such a miserable state. "What happened here?" he demanded. Tears streamed down Aniefiok's face as he gasped, "My brother, forgive me." Overcome with guilt, he confessed everything, the deceit, the inflated prices, the hidden mansion, and the cursed charm they had used to drive Edet away. But it was too late. Anger and betrayal burned in Edet's heart. Without hesitation, he threw them out, reclaiming what was rightfully his. As they stumbled away in shame and suffering, Edet stepped back into his home, vowing never to be deceived again. Desperate and tormented by their unrelenting affliction, Aniefiok and Enobong clung to the last shred of hope. They would seek the native doctor who had given them the charm in the first place. Surely, he would have a cure. But when they arrived at his shrine, they were met with devastating news. The native doctor had died weeks earlier. His hut was abandoned, the once feared grounds now silent and empty. Panic gripped them. With no other option, they turned to hospitals, but doctors found no medical explanation for their worsening condition. They sought deliverance in churches, kneeling at altars, begging for mercy, but no relief came. Their bodies continued to deteriorate, their sores deepening, their suffering intensifying. One by one, they sold their possessions, the car, the rented house, their stolen luxury, until nothing remained. Their ill-gotten mansion was long gone, and now, they were reduced to beggars. With nowhere else to turn, they crawled back to the village, the very place they had once tried to escape. But the village that once welcomed them now turned its back. People whispered, pointing at them in scorn. Those they had wronged refused to help. Hunger gnawed at them, sickness ravaged their bodies, and suffering swallowed them whole. Eventually, weakened by disease, shame, and the weight of their own greed, Aniefiok and Enobong perished in misery. Their grand dreams had crumbled into dust, leaving only a cautionary tale behind. As the elders say, when a man is given yam, he should not use his own hands to plant thorns on the path he will walk tomorrow. Greed had led them to ruin, and betrayal had sealed their fate. May our kindness never bring us sorrow, nor our generosity be repaid with betrayal. May we be blessed with wisdom to discern true friends from hidden foes, and may our good deeds never be taken for granted or used against us. Let us never fall into the hands of those who seek to drain us, leaving us empty and broken. Instead, may our kindness return to us in abundance, bringing joy, peace, and prosperity. May we always walk the path of integrity, knowing that what is rightfully ours will never be stolen by deceitful hearts. Thank you for watching.
Like and subscribe.